Hey guys, this lesson talks about earthquakes and volcanoes. Last week we learned about how the tectonic plate boundaries can create lots of volcanoes, and we found out that that can happen both at convergent boundaries when there's subduction and that crust melts and comes up as magma, or at divergent boundaries because that creates gaps for the magma to rise up from underneath. Um, this week, let's look a little bit more about why earthquakes happen at plate boundaries as well. I want you to try something. Take your hands and go like this, and you can move them together, or you can move them past each other like this. And your hands are going to represent the tectonic plates, and the boundary is where they touch. Now I want you to press them together, and I want you to really squeeze hard. And now I want you to try to move them up and down again. And it's harder. And when it does, it can only happen at sudden bursts of energy there. Well, your hands are much smaller than the tectonic plates. And so it takes a lot more energy to move those. And when they do all of a sudden shift because it's a rough surface, it's almost like a bomb going off and that much energy. So we'll learn about this, the center of where those earthquakes happen, where that little slip happens. It's called the focus. And if you go straight up to where the ground is, because they happen underground, when you go up to where we can walk on the surface, that's called the epicenter right above. But the focus is where it happens. Now, the closer the focus is to the surface, the more energy is going to be released and felt at the surface. So the more shaking there is. If it's really far underground, you don't get much shaking. But if it's really close to the surface, it's like the bomb going off right at the surface, and all that energy gets released as shaking, and it can be pretty devastating, and it can cost lives and cause a lot of damage to buildings. So you're going to go ahead and watch that video, answer these questions, make sure you do this reading, and I'll see you down further on the page.